2 years ago, I started a sourdough starter. I named it Banquo after a Macbeth character because it was from an old world sourdough starter, and for a while you saw updates about him. Then all of a sudden, those updates stopped. And that's because it turned out a sourdough starter was a little bit too much for me to take care of. But I've been thinking about it for a while, and it's time to bring Banquo back to life. According to some instructions I found on the internet, for day 1, we're going to need 5 grams of sourdough starter and 15 grams of warm water. Oh my god, a raccoon! Sorry, that was so random. I just reached a raccoon. Anyway, let's start rehydrating some starter. So I dried my sourdough starter quite thick. I would not recommend that, and in fact my other sourdough starter ended up a lot flakier. I'm sure this is going to take even longer than it's supposed to rehydrate, but we're just gonna deal with it. That's 2 grams. That's 4 grams. 5, perfect. I have learned my lesson. This is 80-degree water, okay? That was too much water. Okay, that was 52 grams. Ah, shoot. I started thinking about the raccoon again. I was thinking about the raccoon while I was pouring. Okay. 50 divided by 15. I pulled up the calculator. 52 divided by 15, it's like 3.5. So then 5 times 3.5 is like 17 and a little bit more. So I'm just gonna add like 12 more grams of the dried discard. And then when it's time to add flour in like a couple hours, I'll just add 52 grams of that, because that's what's important, that we're doing the 100%. So it's all gonna be okay. I probably could have blended this up first. Here's the current status of Banquo's ghost. And we're gonna let this sit for a couple of hours and see what it does. Looks like we're doing pretty good. Most of that dissolved okay, I think. It's good enough. Let's go get some flour. Oh yeah, I just remembered I'm almost out of all-purpose flour. Luckily, we only need 50 grams, and I can go buy some more, right? Can you see that? That is so dry. How is that so dry? I measured. I feel like this is a good time to remind you that yes, even after over a year of doing a hobby, you can still not be good at it. And that's okay. And the act of trying is still important, and continuing to improve and all that. I feel like that's what the first hunk of sourdough videos was about, after all. Okay, that looks closer to what I'm expecting. We have sludge. So I'm gonna leave this on the counter overnight, and then tomorrow morning we will check back in. Good morning, it's day 2. Banquo's ghost is looking okay. According to the online article, I shouldn't expect to see any activity yet until tomorrow, so that is a very real fear of mine, that I did something wrong with the dehydrating, or I did use discard instead of like freshly fed starter. So I am fairly worried that he's just dead, not gonna come back. So I'm gonna feed him, and then let's talk strategies about this whole resuscitation. So, let's talk about one of the main problems that I encountered with my sourdough starter last year, back when I used to try to upkeep it. And one of those problems was this. I was really bad at actually washing off anything that I used for the sourdough starter, which was really hard for my husband, who's usually more of the dishes guy in our relationship. And the thing is, I used to keep a lot of discard in a variety of takeout type containers. And so it was really hard that I would just leave those in the sink after I was done with them. And that's totally my fault, like fully take accountability for that. And then because I kept so much discard, I just had so much of it laying around because I felt guilty about the idea of having to get rid of it, having to discard the discard. So I mean, step 1 for this is just washing everything as soon as I'm done with it, which, you know, I've had a lot more practice with now, so I can totally do it. And step 2 is not keeping discard. So when I feed my sourdough starter, either I actually have to use the discard right away. Or I just actually throw it away. Or I can dry it, that's also an option. Although as we just learned, I have so much discard already. I don't know what I'm gonna do with that, because it turns out you don't actually need that much of it when you're reviving a sourdough starter. Oh yeah, no, he's alive. Very good news. Banquo's still alive and smells bad. But that's what we want him to smell like right now. Okay, I'm sorry. I just woke up. Let's just feed him. Oh my God, it smells so bad. Oh, I'm gonna need to buy some more flour soon. So yeah, apparently it's a really good thing that we're like seeing bubbles and you can smell it. That's awesome. I'm doing a much better job of keeping up the regular feedings than I did when I first started Banquo, so character growth. We love to see it. Okay, 35 grams of 83-degree water. It's cold weather. It's probably not an ideal time to be starting a sourdough starter, but I mean, hey, Banquo's making it work, so I will make it work. Eventually we will discard like half of what's in the jar, or everything except 15 grams, which is of course what I was supposed to be adding every day anyway, but I screwed up that one time. So we're gonna have a lot of discard when we do have discard. See you on day 4. Whoa, look at that foam. Oh my God, that smells so sourdoughy. Great. Today we're doing something a little different and a little fun. We are going to clear this down to 15 grams total, and then we'll be adding 30 grams of flour and 30 grams of water. And then tomorrow, if all goes well, we might actually get to bake some bread. So to start, I'm just gonna measure how much sourdough starter I actually have in here. Okay, so it says about 800, and if I remember correctly, the container is 430-ish. So I'm going to remove like 300 grams. So I'm gonna be putting the discard in here, and we're gonna be using it to make some sourdough muffins this morning. It's very possible I misremembered how much this weighs. This is 250. I'm going to assume that's about 15 grams. And now 30 grams of water, 30 grams of flour, which this is what I've been doing every day because of my initial mess up, but now it's the right thing to do. Definitely need more flour now. So now we actually want to keep track of where Banquo is. He's at about the half-inch mark, and we are hoping that at the end of today, or like by tomorrow morning, that he will rise to the 1-inch mark, because that means that he's alive and ready to be used to make bread. So it's kind of late on day 5. I woke up this morning just really tired, and I was out of my flour. I had to wait to go and buy more, which I've done. We will take care of this. We're going to discard all but 15 grams again, and I have checked how much this weighs. I looked back in my footage, so now I know. Now I'm certain about the math, although I do think I did the math correctly yesterday. So, and then hypothetically, tomorrow morning, we'll be able to make some bread. Okay, so it's 600 grams minus 430 is 170 grams. So we're gonna get rid of like 150 grams. Okay, cool. Okay, I only took out 112, because I don't know, it just doesn't look like that much, even though the math is right. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with this yet, but I'll do something, or I'll throw it out, because that's my deal with myself now. This says bleached flour, and I'm pretty sure we need unbleached. Okay, give me a second, I need to do some research. Okay, so from the sourdough subreddit, it seems like the reason you might not want to do unbleached flour is because it doesn't contain as much wild yeast in it because it's processed. So I think to counteract it, I'll add 15 grams of all-purpose and 15 grams of unbleached whole wheat. And maybe we'll just split the difference. That's what I did when I started out the starter anyway. You can already see it's changed color just because of that whole wheat flour. So we'll see what it looks like tomorrow. I'm having a bad morning, so I'm just going to do 20 grams of each and then 40 grams of water. No, I can do more than that. I'm going to do no discarding today and like 40 grams of each, I think, and then 80 grams of water. I need to start to bulk this up because the recipe I'm interested in using takes a lot of sourdough starter. Hello. So I've had a rough couple of days, not really sleeping, and of course, when I feel bad, I want to eat bread. And in the battle of not feeling very well, I have a new weapon. My $10 bread machine. I got this baby from a garage sale and it has been so helpful already. I have found a sourdough bread machine recipe and I'm gonna follow it. And we're gonna make bread machine bread today to prove that Banquo is alive. Oh, okay, bread done. That is a very small loaf. Well, I'm gonna say this didn't rise. I will let it cool and then we'll cut it open. And I'm pretty sure it's gonna be raw. And my head is really hurting. Yay. So here's the situation. My head is killing me. I might have a migraine. I don't know. And I'm pretty sure this, if it's not raw, it's at the very least not going to be very tasty. And I'm having flashbacks to the first sourdough loaf that I ever made. And I thought that using a bread machine would mean I was safe and this is going to be good. My head hurts and I just can't right now, so. Oh my God. Okay, this might very technically not be raw, but it did not rise at all. Oh my God, that is horrifying. This might be the worst bread I've ever made. Oh my God. I don't think this was Banquo's fault. I think trusting a bread machine for this was a mistake. I'm gonna get some sleep. I did feed Banquo again back when I started the bread. So I think tomorrow I will grab my stand mixer that I bought specifically to make bread 2 years ago. And I will try again. I'm not gonna lie, it's been a rough couple of days. I'm finally kind of starting to feel better today. And I would just really like to prove that I have a working sourdough starter. And I properly revived him before storing him in the fridge and feeding him once a week indefinitely. I watched my old sourdough videos to try to see if I could find whatever recipes I use. I remember once I had a lot of success with using the recipe that was like came with the original dried sourdough starter. And I couldn't find that, but I did find a link to a recipe that I used for my second sourdough starter, which, I mean, if this goes well, I might also choose to try to revive, but that'll be a different video. So anyway, I'm going to use this recipe and it doesn't actually need a stand mixer. It's a lot of stretch and fold, which I have experience with, so let's get started. Banquo really does smell like good and right and what I can remember him smelling like back in the day. Okay, we need 150 grams. once again, we'll be feeding this. 250 grams of water, that's a lot. Gotta go heat that up. This is just under 90-degree water. It's totally safe. Look, I can do this. We're not killing any yeast today. And then we need olive oil. I don't actually have olive oil, so we're just using vegetable oil, but it's 25 grams. Okay, that was a little too much, it's fine. 5 grams is not gonna make a difference. I remember this from last year. It doesn't look attractive. You can't really see that, can you? Yum. Okay, next up is flour. 500 grams. So I am using unbleached bread flour. Hopefully this works. Perfect. The recipe wants me to squish this together with my hands. I think I'm gonna start with the spoon first, and then we'll get a little messier. Oh, I should also point out, I am supposed to add the salt right now, but I'm actually going to wait until after we do the first little rise, just because I'm paranoid that the salt will kill the yeast. Wow, okay. This is a dry, shaggy dough, which is what the instructions do say. This is so weird. I'm really used to sourdough dough being pretty loose, pretty sticky. This is not that interesting. Okay, well, yeah, like my hand's totally clean. That's very unusual for what I've seen. So I'm going to let this rest for 45 minutes. It says half an hour to an hour. I do have it on top of, under here is my dishwasher, and it's on the heat cycle right now, which means some warmth is going to be rising up and keeping this at a good, comfortable temperature. Like, not enough to do any harm, I don't think. It's one of those things where, like, if I need to soften refrigerated butter, I'll leave it here and it'll start, it softens up. But yeah, so I'm gonna leave this. I'm going to feed Banco again to make sure that I can make bread again with him in the future. And I will see you after the first rest. So this has been rising for 2-3 hours, something like that. It looks pretty good to me. Look at that. So we're just gonna shape it and set it to rise again. It really smells like sourdough.
Oh yeah. It's got that sour, yeah.
This is going to be the best tightening I've ever done.
Oh, nice.
Oh, that looks pretty good. Oh, yep, she's done.
Shayna's trying the bread.
I love my life. Okay. I'm still worried, but it's at least better than the one from last night. And I did temperature check it, so it should be okay. I mean, it's edible. It's cooked and it's edible this time. It's not, I don't know. I don't think it's underbaked. It's just a little, I don't know, it's moist.
Oh, Oh, yeah, it is a little bit. Over here, it's fluffier, and then here it's a lot denser. So
like it could have
risen
more?
or something.
It probably is a proving problem. Oh yeah, the split there, right? I think that's what Paul Hollywood would say means it could have proven more. Would you like to taste? Cheers.
Oh, cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. I mean, it tastes good.
Tasty.
Yeah.
I think I want this to be the end of the video. I'm not disappointed. This is very edible bread. It's not perfect, but I will eat the entire loaf.
This is a very decent. Yeah, I would eat this too.
Yeah.
I really like where you get that tang with the sourdough. And
It's not, I know, what is
I feel
that?
like it's more satisfying that it's a little moist to me.
Yeah, the moistness is not the problem, I agree.
Like it's like eating a really nice roll.
Yeah,
you know?
but it's not as sourdoughy as I would expect.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to really let it ferment for a while. And you did say this is being woken up. Not that I know about anything about baking sourdough, but
I'd say the dominant flavor is the really nice flour that you used as part of it.
yeah.
I didn't use special flour.
Oh really? I thought you used I thought you used some of the barley flour.
Not for this.
No, okay. I really want to toast it.
No. Do we need to set more bread on fire in this kitchen? Okay, I'm gonna make more bread tomorrow. I think I have to find the recipe that came with the sourdough starter because that has always been the best bread that I've gotten from this starter. Do you have any idea where it is? The little card? It needs an overnight fermentation.
Yeah, I think so.
Yay, you found it! The consensus is we're trying again, and that is okay. This is good. This is edible.
Yeah, this is good.
This is a step ahead of where I was when I first started sourdough. I'm happy with that, but
And you had a nice cut.
it's the best cut that I've ever done. Okay, we're having fun.
I'm peel it for you.
I'm gonna turn off the camera. I'll be back tomorrow. Good morning. We have 2 days at least of bread making ahead of us, so let's get started. But first, look how bubbly Banquo is. You just see it from the side. It's great. I'm so happy. It's time to get started. I did post a written version of this recipe on my Patreon, but I will put texts around here so you can watch and gather the recipe if you want. Honestly, the Old World sourdough, they're not making money from this recipe. They're selling their amazing sourdough starter. Let's get you an overhead view. We'll get started.
Okay, so the next step is to let this sit for 6 to 10 hours, and since it is 1:30, 6 hours would be dinner time. I'm gonna wait until closer to like 10 when I go to bed, and then I'll do whatever shaping, kneading type thing needs to be done then. So I'll see you later.
Oh, look at those bubbles. Oh, smell that. Smell that fermentation. Do I sound insane?
No.
Oh, I should have put flour down. Oh no. Oh no. I think I need flour.
Okay.
Actually, a lot more. Yeah, thank you. Perfect. Okay, there. Cool. Yeah, that was good. Thank you. Maybe I can't do what I did yesterday.
It's too soft.
It's too
airy.
soft, yeah. So I can't like make it a nice like tight ball like I did. But that's okay. Yeah. Oh, this was a mistake. well, okay. That did not go how I wanted it to go.
Guess you needed to flour your hands too, huh?
Yep. Oh well, it's fine. It'll skinify. It's fine. Welcome to the end of the video, because I am not making a fourth loaf in this video, and I feel pretty good that this bread's gonna be okay. It didn't really want to rise up. I totally forgot that because it is a wetter dough, it really needs the structure of a loaf pan for it to actually get that height that we want. But otherwise, I can't really be that mad. I didn't get the slice as much in the middle as I got with the second loaf. It didn't get as brown and crispy on the top, but I see so many bubbles. It really did rise anyway, even though it wasn't really able to go straight up. It expanded, but that does mean there was a lot of lift in there. So I'm cautiously optimistic. Let's cut into this and see what we got. Oh, right away I can smell it. Wow, okay. Oh yes. Oh, look at that texture. Oh, smell that sourdough. Come on, that's great. I just gotta taste it now. There's no way it's not gonna be good, right? I mean, at least the texture looks phenomenal. Oh, it looks beautiful. Okay, let's try it. That tang is a lot more present. Still not as present as it could be, honestly. I would definitely be willing, next time I made bread, to let it go for a full day and a half in that fridge rise, but I had a video to get done. Like it's so moist, I'm almost thinking it could be underbaked, but I temperature checked it like several times and it's good. I wonder if it's just because this recipe uses a lower baking temperature, or because I doubled the recipe. I did have to bake it for 20 minutes more for it to get to temp. This is so good though. This is the best bread I've ever made in terms of flavor and texture.
If you allow me, let's do a quick comparison here. We've got the third loaf, nice and airy. We've got the second loaf, nice and tall, but pretty dense. And we've got the second loaf, the densest bread you've ever seen in your entire life. Just looking at this, looking at the color, looking at the texture, the taste, at least with these two where we can actually taste them, I'm really proud of how far I've come in just like a week and a half. I was saying to a friend today that I think sourdough is the hardest thing I've ever tried to learn, which is really funny because I tried it starting really early on my YouTube channel. I guess I thought it would be fairly doable. And then what's sad is after a while, I just realized I was plateauing and not getting any better, and I just stopped. And I think that was the wrong way to do it. I think I should have kept going. I'm not sure exactly what's next in the cards for my sourdough journey. I mean, I'm gonna keep Banquo alive in my fridge where he's nice and safe. I will be feeding him every week and either using or discarding the discard like I promised myself I would. But learning how to get better, that's gonna be a longer journey, and I am excited to keep being on it and to take you on it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, leave me a like or a comment saying, what your favorite bread type is. I am very partial to chocolate bread. I wonder if I can make chocolate sourdough bread. Let's put a pin in that idea. Thank you again, and I hope to see you real soon. Cheers. Ooh, cheers.